which is over 50%.
That's great, but 69% believe angels are real. Do you see my concern? Right? The thing that we can empirically show to exist, that's cast into doubt. But the thing that can never be empirically shown to exist, that's correct.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How you doing, Chum Bucket?
Not much.
What did you want to talk about?
I was just going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then just go wherever you want, honestly.
Sure.
But
Sure, go
I
for
have
it.
a husband to Pokemon, like on Thursdays, and I have a baby who finally fell asleep, and I'm like, I haven't engaged in a debate in a long time. So it'd be fun.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. I'm down to debate about literally anything. I used to do debate back in high school, though I kind of hate the format of that style of debate. Went to college, studied politics and philosophy and international relations, and I liked that type of style way more. And I just like to debate because I think it does good for people, as long as it's, respectful and in good faith, I guess.
Fair enough. Well, why don't you tell me some of your politics? I'm a pretty hardcore liberal. I'm like bona fide, full-blown soy boy liberal. Whatever you can imagine that a soy boy liberal on Twitter is arguing, I'm probably also arguing that. So if there's anything that you disagree with on a soy boy liberal, I'm right here, ready to hear you out.
I guess I can kind of tell you kind of where I stand. I tell people I'm a libertarian because in general, I feel like the government should, when it can, not intervene, both in social and commerce. But obviously there's instances where I feel like it has to. I'm just not a fan of government overreach. And obviously it's subjective when government overreach has been achieved or not. I would say I'm a liberal at heart. Like I much more appeal to liberal ideals, but in practice I'm much more conservative. So like I'm pro gun and pro-choice, if that would make sense. I mean, I guess it would make sense from the libertarian aspect. But I also wouldn't own a gun and wouldn't personally have an abortion, if that makes sense too.
Okay. You personally would not have an abortion, but would you? What about for other people?
Yes, but I would. I would say that it aligns way more with pro-choice, but I have a lot of issues with pro-choice. But if I had two candidates, one saying that they wanted to ban abortions and one saying that they would prefer to have an extension of abortion rights, I would likely more vote for the candidate who wants, the pro-choice stance.
Okay.
Not.
Yeah, so you are pro-choice. You're just personally,
Correct.
You don't want to have an abortion, which is fine. That's a pro-choice argument.
Yeah. No, and that's exactly why I said my ideals are liberal, but my actions are more conservative.
Okay, so you seem to be against government overreach. So what if, for example, that a government program could be seen as beneficial? Would you be in favor of that government program? Like it empirically shows that it works.
I wouldn't see a welfare program as government overreach.
Okay.
When I say government overreach, I mean more like in social issues.
Then under that basis, what is your difference between just a standard Democrat as opposed to a libertarian then? Because what you're describing is effectively a Democrat.
Well, a Democrat is a political party.
Yes.
Whereas a libertarian is an ideal on a spectrum.
Libertarian is also a political party. I used to be a member of it.
But when you say Democrat,
believe it or not, it exists.
When you put it on an axis, it's not Democrat and libertarian, right? Libertarian is also a party. It's a third party that doesn't really get a lot of traction. When I say libertarian, I mean that if you do the libertarian to conservative to left to right axis, I lean closer to the libertarian side.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just about everybody, but that just basically makes you a Bernie bro, and so you would effectively be.
Oh, I am definitely a Bernie bro, dude. Bernie.
You're a Bernie bro.
I will never forget the Democrats.
You're not a libertarian.
I will never forget the Democrats. No. Okay, I loved Bernie because Bernie, to me, people on the MAGA side always say oh, I like Trump because Trump's the people's politician. He's not a real politician. He speaks for the people.
Oh, yeah.
I freaking loved Bernie because to me, Bernie was the most anti-BS political politician at the time. And I will never forgive the Democrats for not giving Bernie the election or the
Yeah,
Democratic
I mean,
vote
they
in 2016.
what they did is that they did some polling, and then they found that Hillary did slightly better. And so because Hillary did slightly better, that was enough for them to justify, oh, we could just, forget about Bernie.
Which was dumb, though, because, okay, so
it's a strict calculus, right? I agree with you. Like,
no, but here's what the polls also said. So the polls between Bernie and Hillary showed that Hillary veered a little bit better in terms of people who were already going to vote Democrat. But polls also showed that if you were to pair Bernie with Trump, Bernie would have succeeded over Trump.
Oh, you think?
They are. I mean, I don't know if I could find it now. It's been decades.
Maybe. I don't know.
But I know in our political classes back in 2016.
I can't say for sure if that would have been a thing.
Right, and we can hypothesize all day.
I'm sure.
But
I never would have thought Mamdani would have beaten Cuomo. Holy crap. That's an outlier. Come on. You can't tell me that's not an outlier. That's an outlier. I was like, what? I was like, a Muslim guy that calls himself a democratic socialist? Incredible.
I guess that just comes to that people are a lot more diverse than I don't love the idea of you asked me so you're just a Democrat, so then you're a Democrat, right? In practice, I don't like the idea of categorizing ourselves like this because labels are good in that we can use labels to get a better understanding of ourselves, but they're not good in that when you tell somebody, hey, I am blank, they already have a conception of who you are because they have these stereotypes associated with that term.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but you already highlighted it yourself. You said that it allows you to figure out what somebody likes or is into.
No, it allows you on your own personal being to figure out what you believe in. But when you tell somebody else, hey, I'm a Democrat, they already have a preconceived notion of what a Democrat is, right? Even though when you say you're a Democrat, there may be a lot of stuff about you that doesn't necessarily perfectly that descriptor.
People talk about Democrats as if it's a bad word, and I'm like, my goodness, Jesus! Like Democrats, I promise you, they're a lot better than the other party. It's not even close. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how you feel about that.
About Democrats or Republicans being better.
Yeah.
I would certainly say that now, I would. It would depend on the politician or what you mean. Overall, are Republicans worse? I wouldn't say so. Currently, is the president for the Republican Party a lot worse? Oh yeah, absolutely, right, without question. But blanket statements like that, I don't think really actually help people make any sort of understanding in terms of their own political beliefs, because it just creates an us versus them system that in the end really just polarizes us further.
The difference is one of them believes that angels are real. They're literally real.
That's assuming that a Republican by nature has to be some form of theist. Not all Republicans are theists.
Oh, that's a majority of Republicans. You're lying to yourself if you think that it is not a huge amount of that.
And here's where I knew why I don't like labels. I told you that they're not, and you're like, well, most of them are, but you don't know that. If you go to the average person,
you look at Pew Research. What do you mean?
Yeah, you can see most, but that doesn't mean that the person who you talk to is.
Sure, I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying that, if I had to compare one and the other, one of them thinks angels is real. I may as well be telling you a leprechaun is real. A grown adult thinks leprechauns are real. We all know angels aren't real, right? We can all come to the conclusion angels aren't real, right? I hope. You realize a majority of the world does not believe angels are real, even Christians because they realize that's just a story. It's not real. I mean, about as many people believe angels are real as the amount of people that believe global warming exists. The thing that we can empirically show to exist. That has just as much belief structure as the thing that has zero basis in reality. Right? A human can't have wings on its back, taxonomically speaking, right? It's not possible. Angels don't exist. It's not a thing. I don't know how to illustrate it.
Have you seen a biblically accurate angel though?
Yeah. Maybe that's also is taxonomically impossible. It's the same problem. It's like this doesn't exist. Do you see my problem?
I feel like you said it yourself, though. Most Christians don't believe that angels are actually real.
Outside of the U.S. Within the U.S., they do believe, which is insane. I'm like, you're a grown adult. You're like an adult that pays taxes, and you think that this make-believe thing is real.
Right, but you perceive it to be make-believe, right? Like,
no, I don't perceive it. I know it's make-believe. It's like I told you leprechaun.
No.
I'm not perceiving that a leprechaun is fake. It's just fake. It's a leprechaun. Leprechauns don't exist.
Sure.
Yeah, same thing with angels. They don't exist.
If somebody were to believe, hypothetically speaking, a leprechaun do exist, that doesn't mean that their perception on politics would, by its nature,
their perception on reality is stunted. Their ability of determining what is fact from fiction is stunted.
But, okay, let me ask you this. So if I say Harry Potter is a woman, would you disagree with that?
I would disagree with that.
But Harry Potter isn't real, right?
It's correct, but in the book it says that he's a male.
Right. Right. So we derive some form of truth from something that is not real.
Yeah, it's something that's in a book. It's like I could show you the pages in the book that says the pronouns he. Exactly.
But Harry Potter's not a real being.
Yeah, well, no one's arguing whether or not Harry Potter is real. You know, we're just saying, hey, is Harry Potter a boy? In the book, he's a boy. Yes.
So we can make true assertion statements about things that we understand that are not physically real.
Sure, but that doesn't make it real. It's still fake. It's just make believe.
So people who believe in angels can believe that they exist, but still acknowledge that their perception of reality does not necessarily rely on their understanding of what is or isn't metaphorically.
You're switching it.
Real.
You're switching it because it's like we're talking about things that we can empirically show to exist, and I can operate within your hypothetical talking about Harry Potter, and we all know, even though he's a boy, you know, he does not exist. That's fine. We could say he doesn't actually exist in real life. In the book, he's labeled as a boy. But there are people that unironically believe angels are real. They literally exist. They exist in reality like you and me exist. Not like Harry Potter, like you and me.
They don't think that angels literally in the physical world exist. They believe that there is some world outside of Earth in which angels exist.
Bro. How many people say like an angel saved me, bro?
Those are usually not the average person.
No, they're so good.
I'm sure that most of them who say I believe in angels.
Research. I'll pull it up.
Physical angel. They don't mean a literal angel. Like they don't literally. Jesus spoke to me, came to me in a physical being. They have some perception that they deem to be God that they talk about. And
I also think you're kind of wrong, because I spoke with a lot of Christians who are saying these exact words. Where like I am talking to God. God is talking to me.
I'm sure there are people who do claim that. I'm sure there are people who do claim that.
Somebody is talking to them. Might not be God, but you know, they see it as being God. And they are convinced that it is God.
I have a personal theory that sometimes people maybe don't have, you know how they say that not everybody has like an internal monologue or a dialogue, like an actual voice. I have a feeling a lot of people who claim that, I don't have no proof, obviously I can't prove this, but it's people who don't have that internal monologue having some form of internal monologue and attributing that to God. Can't prove that for sure. That's my own personal fun theory on
Maybe
that.
Maybe they're like late bloomers and
it could
when
be.
it happens, it's like, oh my God, it's God.
But like it's like a weird phenomena where you ask people like, when you think of an apple, like do you actually imagine an apple in your head? And they like can't. And to me that's crazy because like I can, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean I understand this point. It's like I can't imagine how it is for something that can't imagine the apple in their head when they're thinking of an apple.
Right.
Like right now, we said apple. In my head, there's the image of an apple. You know, it's like my head is thinking, oh, that's an apple. And obviously, I cannot understand how it is for somebody. Like I can understand it as like a basic level, right? It's like it's like some people just don't have it, right? I can think about that thing, but I can't know it.
All right. So I'm just gonna show you here, right? This is a Gallup poll. I mean, I'll go ahead and make it so you can click it yourself in side chat.
I'm on my
But
phone, so this is a
American
little...
belief in 5 spiritual entities between 2001 to 2023, it appears that a belief in angels, while it is lower now, is at 69% as of 2023.
Right,
That's a nice
but does it...
number.
69%? That is so high.
Like an literal angel, or do they have a perception of like a metaphysical angel that exists in some other world? Because they also believe in the afterlife, and normally when they say I believe in angels, they mean I believe that angels like exist in heaven, or occasionally descend into earth. That doesn't mean like it's not the same as like I believe like an angel is right next to me right now and I can physically touch him, physically see him, physically interact with the angel.
I'm not sure, but I don't think that this matters whether it's like metaphorical or in reality. When someone is sitting there doubting global warming exists, but then proclaiming that angels exist, that is a sincere issue in a person's basic epistemology. Their ability to determine fact from fiction is stunted.
I obviously am, agnostic, I'm an agnostic atheist. So, I would obviously be inclined to agree with you, but I'm trying to give the most fair view. Like I feel like the view that you're giving is devoid of a lot of context from somebody who actually is religious. And I feel like if we had somebody who was religious, they would probably be able to uphold their view much better than I can, in the same way that
maybe.
I feel like...
But I think that I don't know what they could potentially tell me that doesn't ultimately revert to like, hey, your epistemology sucks. If somebody believed in angels, right, like in a metaphorical sense, and then believed that global warming existed, maybe then I could probably posit that their epistemology is likely better, even though they still believe in a God. They're at least able to say, well, we can't show that angels physically exist in real life, but I can at least say that, angels, may exist in heaven, but, they don't exist in real life. But also global warming is real. Maybe then I could probably argue, but I'm saying specifically, if you believe angels exist and global warming isn't real, your epistemology is crap. You cannot properly think of what is truth from fiction.
I would be curious to see how many people who believe that angels are real would also believe that. I guess you could just what percentage of Christians, because most Christians, if they believe in the afterlife, because they live in the afterlife, would also believe in angels. And they, like I said, they don't believe in angels in the literal sense of an angel being in front of you. They believe that an angel came down to, Mary and impregnated her, and they believe that when you die there are angels, and sometimes they believe that you have a guardian angel who looks over you, so when something miraculous happens to you, it's because your guardian angel took care of you, right? But they don't literally believe that there is an angel in their pocket or in front of them. It's a very metaphorical sense of an angel. It's not a literal sense of an angel in front of you. And I'm not going to grant that. I'm not going to say that there's not religious people who are absolute morons. Of course there are. I mean, we can go online and find plenty of people who have just done interviews, just random interviews, who are complete idiots. I guess my point is that we shouldn't assume just...
So I'm just going to propose this right here that you can see. This is another Gallup poll that is able to source. I'll post it inside chat. But it says here that are Americans concerned about global warming? And I'm specifically curious about the percentage that believe that it is caused by pollution and it's human activities driving it. That's 62%.
Yeah, which is over 50%.
That's great, but 69% believe angels are real. Do you see my concern? Right? The thing that we can empirically show to exist, that's cast into doubt. But the thing that can never be empirically shown to exist, that's correct. That's a problem. People's basic ability to determine what's real, what's fake is garbage in the United States, specifically the United States. We've been eroding away at our education for decades now. We've done the No Child Left Behind Act. We've been doing the teaching to the test. We've been defunding our schools left and right federally, which has resulted in worse educational outcomes. It's gotten worse. It's getting even worse, especially with this Donald Trump shit. What are we doing? Dismantling the EPA now? Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, not the EPA, the fucking department, the DOE? Jesus.
Also the EPA.
Also the EPA.